Well, hello everyone, my name is zwiggojr and welcome back to the How Fast Can I Beat Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver with every single legendary and mythical series. Today is going to be kind of a sad day because it is the final episode. The last Johto mythical Pokemon is CELEBI. CELEBI is a pretty adorable Pokemon that can literally time travel. But time traveling is not its only good thing. It also has a 600 base stat total with 100 in every single stat, which is nothing to laugh at. So it might look frail and tiny, but that doesn't mean it's going to be last in this competition. And if we take a look at its moveset, we can see that it has access to the move Ancient Power, which can give us incredible boosts. But its stab moves aren't going to be that amazing, so we're probably going to be going with Magical Leaf and Confusion, because most other Psychic and Grass type moves are post-game. As always, leave your predictions in the comments down below where you think CELEBI will rank among this list, and let's try to hit for 2001 likes because that's the year that the CELEBI Pokemon Forever movie came into existence. And with that out of the way, let's just jump right into it. We start off the game by naming ourselves Oak because in the movie, we actually see that this guy is the younger version of Professor Oak, because CELEBI brought him back with time traveling. We then go to the lab and pick up our starter Pokemon CELEBI and we name it Cow. So it's basically like a celebrity cow, which compared to all of the other cows we've had in this series is just a little bit better. This old man then crashed my game. Kinda rude. I went to pick up my Pokédex and some kind of egg that we have to scramble, and went into our first fight with a pretty decent moveset compared to Ho-Oh and Lugia. So we easily swept up the Chikorita and went back to the lab to name our rival Dark, because in the movie there was this guy with a Dark Tyranitar and a Dark Houndoom, which were so cool. I wish they did more stuff like that. On my way to the next city, I also captured a Pidgey, which I will be using for Fly later on. I once again defeated the head of all the monks and reached Falkner at a time of 29 minutes. And I managed to beat him quite easily just by spamming Confusion on his Pidgey and Pidgeotto to take them out and grant myself my first gem badge. And the Tiamforus, which sadly enough CELEBI cannot learn. I captured a Rattata and saw that it's called the mouse Pokemon. So why does it have rat in its name? Shouldn't it just be rat Pokemon? We beat up one of the underground mafia bosses down at the Slowpoke Cave to save Kurt and the town, and we went straight over to Buxy's gym. And for the people that expected that I was easily going to sweep this, well, you're wrong, because Scyther can outspeed me and always go for U-turn, which is 4 times super effective and one-shots my CELEBI every time. So I came back at level 23, and at level 23 I could outspeed the Scyther, which means that my CELEBI does have the potential to take it out now. And for some reason, the Scyther never attacked me, so I could just Confusion it 3 times and take it out. The next 2 Pokemon Kakuna and Metapod were absolutely no problem, so we easily win our second gym badge from Buxy. Before we move on to the forest, we have to take on our rival again. But his first 2 Pokemon, Ghastly and Zubat, are both weak to Confusion, so we managed to one-shot both of them, and then Bayleaf, who is a little bit more bulky, comes out. But our first Confusion was a critical hit, which means that a second one can also take it out. So after winning that battle, we walk past CELEBI's house, and make our way up to Goldenrod City and challenge Whitney immediately. We did reach her at a time of 1 hour and 23 minutes, which is not that great, because we did have to grind up CELEBI a bit. But Whitney starts off with her Clefairy, which Baton passes away after I hit it with a Confusion. Then I Leech Seed her Miltank and take it out with 2 more Magical Leaves. She sends in her Clefairy again, which I now take out with 1 more attack, and that already gives us 3 gym badges. CELEBI is not doing too badly here. We also pick up a Squirt Bottle so that we can anger some trees, and CELEBI, the guardian of the forest, destroys trees herself. We then go to the burn tower and meet up with our rival. Hey look, I just found something between all of these burned planks. It's the sponsor of this video. Let's give them the word. This video is once again sponsored by Audible books. That's what Audible is all about. And not just any regular books. No, who reads those these days? Audio books. You don't even have to read them anymore. someone will literally read the book for you. Whether you like romance books or maybe thriller books, Audible has everything that you need on their website. I myself really enjoyed the Avatar Kyoshi book on Audible, not only because I'm a huge Avatar fan, but because I could listen to it while I was working. I didn't even need to take time out of my regular life to read a book. And that's what makes Audible so amazing. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and visit audible.com/Zwiggo by clicking the link in the description, or you can text Zwiggo to 500 500 to start your 30-day free trial. Thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video. He has the same team as last time, but with an added Magnemite. So CELEBI once again one-shots the Ghastly and the Zubat, then he goes into Bayleaf. And with only 3 confusions, it falls to my CELEBI's knees. So that means that there is only one more Pokemon left, Magnemite. But before we get into him, I decided to learn Ancient Power to CELEBI and replace Leech Seed. We then go into the last Pokemon, Magnemite, and take it down with 2 more confusions as we then go to Morty's gym. Morty and I are both super effective against each other, so let's see how our CELEBI does here. And as you can see right here, we can just one-shot Ghastly, then one-shot Haunter, 2-shot Gengar because it decided to not attack me, and then also one-shot the last Haunter, and just like that, we have already got 4 gym badges with CELEBI. So I decided to pick up the HM for Surf so I don't have to come back here later. I go talk to this poor girl who's stuck in a lighthouse. No, not in a washing machine, guys, stop it. So I capture a crab and turn him into a boat by learning him Surf, grab some medicine, and take on the big boy Chuck, which we reach at a time of 2 hours and 9 minutes. And if you guessed that this fight was just going to be confusion, you are in fact wrong. I took out Primate with confusion, yes, but Poliwrath went down to a bunch of magical leaves. CELEBI was just too strong for him, so he gave us his gym badge, and we went back to the lighthouse to hand over the secret potion and take on Jasmine and her Steel-type Pokemon. Although I don't really understand why they didn't give her a Skarmory. And CELEBI actually got her ass handed to her a couple of times. Merely because the Magnemite would always keep on paralyzing me with Thunder Wave, and then I would get wrecked by the Steelix because we would always go second or just not attack at all. He could then hit me with Iron Tails and lower my defense with them as well, which happened quite a lot. But after only about a dozen attempts, we were able to beat Jasmine as well. We used up all of our ancient powers on the first Pokemon, Magnemite, to try and get some boosts. After getting them, I decided to also heal up in between so that we wouldn't die and eventually take out Magnemite with 2 confusions. Steelix came out, and this time we could easily 2-shot with Magical Leaves. 1 more Magnemite left, and I killed this thing the same way as the first one by recovering a few times and then spamming Confusion. We then beat up Big Red Schnick with Tiny Little Thing, and we have to now save Mahogany Town together with Lance, the Dragon Master. So we once again meet up with Giovanni, and he turns into... oh my god, I'm your biggest fan. After getting his autograph, we once again crash the Ariana Grande concert, beat up some electric balls, and get a TM that can get rid of whirlpools. With all of these things behind us, we head on over to the 7th gym leader, Price. And guess what? Price's Pokemon are all weak to Grass-type moves, and we have Magical Leaf, which means that we can take out Seal and Dewgong very easily, but then Piloswine comes out and hits me with a critical hit Blizzard, leaving me with only a little bit of HP. But that little bit of HP is actually enough to win me the battle after this with 1 more Magical Leaf. And so we have gained 7 gym badges, which means that we have to go on to the radio tower to confront the radio director, and he also changes into I don't like you. And he sends us to the basement where we fight our rival. He now starts off with a Golbat, so I go for some Ancient Powers and Recovers to try and get some boosts, but sadly enough that didn't work, so the Golbat just goes down. I then also managed to one-shot Haunter with Confusion. Sneasel does a very large amount of damage with Feint attacks, but 2 Ancient Powers take it out as well, and then Meganium comes out. And Meganium is very much a stall Pokemon, because it decides to use Synthesis a bunch of the time after I spam a bunch of confusions on it. Luckily, I can also heal up after it poisoned me with Poison Powder, but I heal up with recover. After this stalling battle, I managed to come out on top as he then goes into his last Pokemon, Magnemite. And with only a couple more magical leaves, we come out on top in this battle as well. So we go back to the radio tower, go to the top where we find Archer. And he has a Houndour and a Houndoom, which should give me a lot of trouble because they are dark fire typing, which resists my grass type moves and totally negates my psychic type moves. But we have ancient power, so we still manage to come out on top very easily and save Goldenrod City from bad radio. Which means that we can now go to the final gym leader, Claire, and normally Claire always gives me the most trouble, but here with Celebi, we didn't really have that many troubles. Only her Gyarados could really hit me for super effective damage, and the rest of her team was really not that hard to take down, except if we did get paralyzed by the Dragonair, that was pretty annoying once again. So a lot of paralysis, and 5 attempts later, and we managed to defeat Claire already. We start off by ancient powering the Gyarados, and on our first turn we already get our boost, so with the second one we can take it out. Then the Dragonair comes out, which we do manage to take out with 2 confusions, but we also get paralyzed and hit with a Fire Blast. Her next Pokemon was Kingdra, so I kept on switching between Magical Leaf and Recover. I went for Magical Leaf because she always smokescreens me and Magical Leaf can never miss. So I'm always guaranteed to hit it, and eventually we do come out on top after healing a bunch. Her last Pokemon was Dragonair, and after spamming a couple more confusions, we managed to get our final gym badge. But we don't get it yet. We have to do a quiz first with the old people. So let's do that real quick. That's kind of a weird question. We then move on to the Kimono Girls, who we easily beat up with our Celebi. We get our title bell, and Celebi then goes up with the ultimate showdown against Lugia. And after throwing a bunch of rocks and leaves at it, we managed to come out on top as well. So we go to the end of Victory Road for our final battle before we take on Will. We start off by taking out his first Pokemon Sneasel with Ancient Power and then Ancient Power after getting hit with an Icy Wind and a Feint Attack. Golbat can't really damage us that well, so we go for another Ancient Power and then heal up with Recover and then take it out with another. Haunter is a one-shot with Confusion. I then decide to use a Recover on Meganium and take it out with 3 more Confusions because it doesn't have any real move that can damage me. So it's just stuck using Petal Dance, which basically does nothing. Magneton then paralyzes me and manages to hit me a couple of times after I then take it out with a couple of Confusions, and last up is Kadabra. And so 2 Magical Leaves later, and we can finally move on to the Pokemon League. And Celebi isn't really good against this league because there is Poison types, which Celebi is not good against, and then you have also got Dark types, which Celebi can't even hit with Confusion. But we're gonna come out on top, don't worry. Let's start off with Will. Will's first Pokemon is Xatu, who we take out with some Ancient Powers, but not before we also get confused. Jinx also gets one shot with Ancient Power. Another Xatu, so another 2 Ancient Powers. And then his hardest Pokemon for me to take down came out, which was Exeggutor, which always put me to sleep with Hypnosis, so I had to heal up with Recover after I broke free of that. And since I'm out of Ancient Powers, I have to now use Magical Leaf and Confusion to take this thing out, which is not really ideal. But with a lot of spamming, we managed to defeat it and go into his last Pokemon, Slowbro, which goes down to a couple of Magical Leaves, and that brings us up to Koga. Koga's first Pokemon is a big spider, so I start off by Ancient Powering and hoping for some boost, which I get. With these boosts, we go into his second Pokemon, Venomoth. So I take that thing out with an Ancient Power as well and get another set of boosts. So we go into Fortress and a couple of Confusions can take that thing out even though it resists it, but because of our boosts, it still goes down rather quickly. His Muck might be pretty bulky, but with these boosts we can one-shot that as well with Confusion, and last up is Crobat, which can't outspeed us anymore, so 1 more Confusion, and Koga is dead. So let's move on to Bruno. Our boy Bruno starts off with Hitmontop, which can hit me with a dig before I take it out with a lot of Confusions. And he also wasted a Hyper Potion on him. So Hitmonlee comes in, which you can also 2-shot with Confusion. Hitmonchan goes down the same way as the other Hitmon brothers with Confusion. Onyx is only a single Magical Leaf, and last up is Machamp, who can take 2 Confusions, but only because his Citrus Berry activated. He then healed up, and 1 more Confusion takes it out because I got a critical hit. So now it's time for, I think, the hardest Elite Four member, but I might be wrong. because even with the dark types, I could still beat her on my first go. Karen should really stop talking to all of the managers. Her first Pokemon is Umbreon, which I can of course only hit with 2 moves, Magical Leaf and Ancient Power, and I decide to go for some Magical Leaves because I am going to be needing my Ancient Powers for Murkrow and Houndoom. After spamming some recovers and a lot of leaves, we do manage to take out the Breon. The next Pokemon on the list was Gengar, and that thing goes down to 2 confusions, not really any problems besides that. Murkrow then gets one-shot by Ancient Power, and Houndoom is after that. But Houndoom doesn't even hit me because she decides to set up a nasty plot with it, so 2 more Ancient Powers, and that thing is down too. Last up is Vileplume, and because we did get boosts, we also managed to one-shot that with the confusion. So with the Elite Four defeated, we only have 1 more trainer standing in our way, and that is Lance the Dragon Master. And he was indeed once again the hardest fight of this entire run, but not as hard as with other legendaries. But only because we had Ancient Power and Recover on our side, because if we didn't have those 2 moves, we could not have done this at this level. Most of his team members have super effective moves against me, and I can barely one-shot any of them except for Charizard. So all I really had to do was just get enough boosts and hopefully not get paralyzed by one of the Dragonites before my Celebi could come out on top. But after a lot of attempts, I decided to get rid of confusion and learn Celebi Shadow Ball. And with this, it only took me a couple more attempts in order to beat Lance, with the biggest threats really being his Dragonites. And also, any crit that he gets is basically the end of me, so that's something to watch out for as well. So as we go into the battle, he starts off with his Gyarados, and I'm of course leading off with Celebi. I hit 2 Ancient Powers and get 1 boost on them, as he then uses a full restore. I then go for a Magical Leaf and finish off Gyarados with 1 more Ancient Power. Then he goes into Charizard, which I take down with a single Ancient Power, you know, 4 times super effective. A Dragonite then comes out, so I go for another Ancient Power and get another set of boosts, but he does paralyze me, so a Shadow Ball later and the Dragonite is dead. He then sends out his last non-Dragonite, Aerodactyl, so a couple more Magical Leaves and he already goes into his next Dragonite. I decide to heal up first as he goes for a Safeguard. I then get hit with a Fire Blast but hit 2 more Shadow Balls to take this one out as well, and then there is only 1 more Dragonite standing in my way. So he hits me with some Dragon Rushes, but they barely do any damage because of the boosts, and 2 more Balls of Shadow later, and we can call ourselves champion of the Johto region with the Celebi. But that's not the main reason, so let's check out Celebi's time. 5 hours and 7 minutes. This places it between Raikou and Lugia, so a solid number 4 spot for Celebi. Sadly enough, the reason why it reached this is because it had to heal too often and couldn't one-shot enough Pokemon. And I also needed to do some grinding for Buxie. If that grind didn't happen, Celebi would have easily gotten a much higher spot on the list. But that ends this series. I hope you guys enjoy it. We will be starting a new one in the upcoming weeks, so look forward to that. And as always, I want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters. If you want to join up yourself, the link is in the description. It is always appreciated. And as always, people, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm Zwiggo, and I'll see you guys next time.